This is the Brain Over Belly podcast, solving the puzzle of obesity with Dr. David Brown of Idaho BMI. Today we meet Colin, a young man new to the Boise area who's ready to lose weight and keep it off for life with the help of Dr. Brown and Idaho BMI. Brain Over Belly will follow the ups and downs of Colin's journey and Mona's as they go through Dr. Brown's comprehensive weight loss program. Let's listen as they put all the pieces together for a healthier, happier life. Here's your host, Rick Dunn.
All right, the journey continues. Here we go. We're starting it up again, and today we have a brand new, very special person from right here in the Treasure Valley that we want everybody to meet. We're going to hear about his story. We're going to hear about how he got here, where he's going, what he's hoping for, and a lot about Colin. Colin, welcome.
Thank you.
We're really glad you're here. So let's jump right into it. You're a young man. You're, I'm guessing 30, 20, 15. How old are you?
No, I'm 23. I'll be 24 this year.
You're 23.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a young man. You've dealt with some weight issues for how long now?
Oh, pretty much my whole life, but the severity has kind of changed based on my age. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ever since you were a little kid, you had some kind of issue. When did you first start feeling like, this isn't cool, I don't really like this, I'm not sure what this is? How did it start for you, and then how did it evolve?
Well, I was always pretty uncomfortable with myself, like in school. I wasn't like explicitly bullied or anything, but you can always tell there's a little bit of a difference. I was maybe 20, 30 pounds overweight.
Right.
But I was doing sports the whole time. So when I was 16, maybe 17, kind of towards the end of high school, I stopped doing sports and I started putting on a lot of weight. But it probably first became really apparent to me when I was like 18-ish. I had just bought new clothes. I had just gotten engaged to this girl I'd been dating throughout high school. And then things just kind of fell apart. And I was like, oh my God. I was forced to kind of take a step back and look at why. And I'd just been looking at pictures over the years, kind of reminiscing. And I was like, oh my God, I've gotten so much bigger.
So nobody specifically was saying anything to you. You just were feeling it, and by looking at these pictures, you realized, man, there's a problem here.
Yeah, well, my folks had said something, mainly my dad, but he's a big guy too, so it was really easy for me to be like, whatever, exactly, yeah. But yeah, that's when I had my big moment, was when I was just kind of looking back at things and seeing how much I had changed over time.
When your parents were talking to you about it, how did they come to you and have that discussion? Was that difficult for them? Was it kind of a nonchalant type of a thing?
It was, just pretty blunt, you're getting bigger, you need to lose some weight.
Right.
Not much beyond that. And it, that's pretty much for the conversation.
So that was probably a shocker though, to hear those, for them to just come forward like that, right?
Well, not really. No. My dad's a pretty straightforward person. So if he sees an issue, or if you come to him with something and say, hey, this, and this is wrong, instead of just lending an ear, he's a problem solver.
Right.
So as soon as he sees an issue, he'll come to you about it. So I wasn't really surprised when I heard from him,
So how much do you weigh right now?
Right now I weigh 430.
430?
Yeah.
And how tall are you?
6 foot.
6 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know exactly how much overweight that is. Do you even know that?
Yeah, my end goal would be to weigh 180. That seems to be kind of the consensus.
Okay, yeah. So that's half of who you are.
Yeah, it's more than half. It's pretty crazy. I
would assume that you have tried dieting. You obviously played sports when you were younger. What are some of the things that you tried and either failed at, or maybe you had some successes? I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, diets have started. They've been going on pretty much my whole life. As soon as my parents had the money to buy healthy food, they themselves have been trying to get the whole family healthy. But it's been a struggle for everybody. So we started this diet called Lean for Life when I was in middle school. And we saw pretty good results with that, but the diet itself wasn't sustainable. We lost the weight, but we couldn't continue eating that.
The second you went off that diet, it all just came back on.
It was gone, yeah. So we did that, and we bounced around with sugar busters and stuff like that. And then as soon as I turned 18 and kind of took the problem more seriously, I started reading through internet forums. There's this subreddit called Lose It, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Actually, I forget the name. It just comes up in my feed. But they do this whole thing called CECO, which is calories in, calories out, and it's just tracking everything that you eat.
Right.
And I've had a lot of success with that. I've lost about 100 pounds before, but it's all come back. So
Right.
after trying, fad diets and then things that a lot of people say are sustainable, I've just decided that there are people who know better than me.
And so you finally were introduced to Dr. Brown at Idaho BMI. How did that come about?
I did some looking. I got here. I moved actually up here from San Diego last June.
I grew up in San Diego.
Oh, yeah?
I grew up in El Cajon.
Oh, that's great. I graduated from Poway High.
Okay.
And I lived in Escondido the past 3 years.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So you came out here and you just were looking for some answers. Dr. Brown's name came up. You reached out to him. What happened?
Well, they called me in to their office and explained the process, and it sounds like a more complicated issue than just eat less, walk more.
Right.
I mean, fundamentally, that's what it is. It's simple, but it's not easy, right? There's a lot more to it.
So you've sat down with Dr. Brown already, right?
Yeah.
Multiple times? How often have you seen Dr. Brown?
I've seen him once, and then I've seen his nurse practitioner once.
And sitting down with Dr. Brown, what did you get from that?
A very thorough explanation, a pretty concise. I don't want to say he didn't say it's my fault explicitly, but he said there's a lot more to it. It's a lot upstairs that needs to be changed, and that's what sounds so great about this process. Is,
right.
You'll have kind of a 6-month period to reset everything upstairs. So I've started by making small changes now, which is just cutting out a lot of carbs. I still eat carbs. I don't eat the same quantity that they want me to eat. They want me in the 20 to 30 gram a day range. I'm at about 70, 80.
Okay.
But it's a pretty stark difference from where I used to be. I used to eat out a lot, and in the month since I first saw Dr. Brown, that's changed substantially.
What's crazy to me as I sit here and talk with you, I feel like there's this misconception about people that are overweight and people that are very overweight that maybe there's a laziness or they don't care about it. As I sit here and talk with you, it's obvious you're a bright guy. You've researched this. You've been going through this your entire life. And it's not like you've just been sitting on the couch eating potato chips all day. You've really given this an effort in some different ways. I'm sure there's been moments where you've just said, forget it, I give up. But it's crazy to me to think that can happen probably to you as well, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that parts of it, I think, are probably, this is just my intuition, obviously. Yeah. I'm not a medical expert or anything. I'm sure part of it is genetic, right?
Right.
I think a lot of it's mental health based. I don't want to say I'm ill, but everybody has their vices.
Oh, we all need therapy. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Everyone has their vices. And some people have healthy outlets like exercise or, I don't know, anything but eating, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And is yours eating then? That's one of your vices?
Yeah, that's a big thing for me is emotional eating. If I get stressed out or if I'm having some sort of dread or it extends beyond just having a bad day,
Right.
The stereotype of the housewife having a bad day, so she eats a pint of ice cream. It's
right.
It's well beyond that. But
tell us about maybe some of the lowest lows that you've had in your life with this. I know I'm just kind of throwing you on the spot.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that a lot. But I don't think there are a lot of incredibly low points. It's just that you kind of operate. If everybody's operating up here at a 10 and they spike up and down throughout the day, you're operating down here at, a 6 or a 7 and you spike up or down. So it's just kind of a consistent.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you go out into society and feel like I don't fit with these people? What kind of thoughts go through your head as you go through your daily life? I would assume you have a job, you work, or you go to school.
Yeah, I work full time and I'm a full time student.
How is it when you go to the grocery store, when you are walking across the street? Do you think about those things or not so much?
Sure, yeah, they definitely cross your mind, especially in a grocery store where the whole thing is food. So
do you feel like people are watching you, what you're shopping for because you're a bigger person?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Definitely. But as far as most interactions in the real world, talking to you, I have absolutely no problem. It's just in finding friends, I have no problem communicating with my peers. It's not an issue. It's really just like dating. I mean, that's pretty much it. It impacts, how you look is a big part of what other people see in you, right? So.
Well, you brought that up, so let's talk about it. Dating.
Sure. Yeah.
You were engaged at one point.
Yeah.
What happened there? That might be a loaded question.
No, it's totally fine. Like I said, I'm an open book. So I dated the same girl all 4 years throughout high school. And things.
And did she accept you for who you were? I mean, she knew you because you said I had issues going through high school with this, and
yeah.
To an extent, or
No,
do you think completely?
Yeah, she was pretty unconditionally affectionate, I would say, until towards the end, where big decisions come up. Where are we going for college? What are we doing with our lives now that high school is over and we have to think about supporting ourselves? And I think that kind of complicated small issues, or maybe even a little bit bigger issues that we were able to ignore. And it didn't end well. It ended with cheating, which is not great. But
you shouldn't do that. You're the cheater.
No, absolutely not.
I know.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Wait a minute. I'm not going to out myself like that. No, I'm just joking. I probably shouldn't. So, do you feel like the weight had any impact?
Yeah, I would say definitely. I've heard things that were said after that fallout happened, and a lot of statements were related to my weight. So I'm sure it had a bigger impact than even I thought. So
where is it? You've already said weight-wise where you want to be. And I know I've talked to Dr. Brown. I don't think he ever even throws numbers out there, because I think for him it's more about what's in your mind, what's healthy, what does your body feel. Everybody's different. But what do you see for your future? Where do you want to be? And I'm not talking just weight. I'm talking everything. What are you looking for? What are you wanting to get out of this?
My goals are pretty vague. I just want to be able to consider myself healthy and be happy with what I see in the mirror. So I'm sure that's going to come after some, I don't know if it's plastic surgery, but, you'll have loose skin after this is all said and done.
You're a young guy, though, so I think, and I'm no doctor, I'm no expert, I would imagine that things like that bounce back a little bit better for people that are young. If you're an old guy like me, you'd have a little bit more trouble with it.
Cut yourself some slack. My goals are, like I said, they're pretty vague. I just want to have a wife and consider myself healthy and be able to enjoy going outdoors. Like, most of my time is spent inside. I worked in IT for a bit. Now I work for a company that hosts video game tournaments. I do a billion things for them. But I don't know. I just want to be able to enjoy going outside. It's been a really long time since I've been able to do that. So, have a wife, have a healthy lifestyle, have a healthy body. That's pretty much it.
Not get judged quite, or maybe you're not even being judged, but not thinking about being judged, right?
Yeah, I think if I feel better about myself, I'll feel a little more liberated, generally. Less judged.
So let's get into the beginning of the process. You've already started. Bariatric surgery is a few months away because there are some preliminary things that need to be taken care of before we get to that point. What are those things? What path has Dr. Brown put you on?
So in order for my insurance to be okay with covering the surgery, or at least covering most of it, I need a 6-month period where I see some sort of mental health professional. I don't know if it's a psychiatrist or a therapist, and I have some kind of evaluation of my mental health.
Okay.
And I need to see a nutritionist, which I've already done, and she's kind of gone over changes that I should be making now that I've been working towards, that Dr. Brown went over in our first meeting.
Okay.
As well as like supplements and the post-op diet and stuff like that, what I should expect. And then I'll meet with Dr. Brown or his nurse practitioner once a month.
Okay.
So, after that's been met, I can schedule the surgery.
And did Dr. Brown explain to you how long this process is going to be, approximately?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I know that they want to check in with me up to 18 months after it's done. I
think that's about how long it's supposed to last. So, and then you're free and off, I guess.
Hopefully, yeah.
So what would, and I asked, you haven't met Mona, but Mona is also somebody here in the Treasure Valley that is going through this process. And we'll be talking to her, I think, on the next podcast, because she's actually going through the surgery right now. So she's a couple steps ahead of you. I asked her this, and I want to ask you this. To anybody out there that's going through exactly what you've gone through, or really close to what you've gone through, there's a lot of those people that feel like nobody cares. There's no hope. They don't know what to do. What would you tell those people?
I don't know. I would tell those people that it's important, like you're important, right? It's tough. The only thing that I can say to them is to keep trying, because I'm sure there are going to be a lot of times where you want to give up, where you're like, I've done this, and this.
Yeah.
And, on paper it makes sense, but it's much more than that. So just keep trying. I don't think there's anything that you can really say to people that struggle with this other than don't give up, because you have to divine your own way to do this. Yeah. There are some people who can just count calories, take a walk, and be fine, right? There are people who can, at my weight, hit the gym, take care of their eating, get everything figured out in 8 months and be okay. Everybody's different, but everybody's important. So regardless of what you've tried, how many times you failed, it's important to just pick yourself up and keep trying again.
So Colin, I'm just going to say this again. He's 6 feet tall, weighs a little over 400 pounds, correct?
Yeah.
And I can't wait to take a picture with you right now and then to take a picture with you in 18 months. It's going to be awesome.
Agree, yeah.
It's going to be the best thing ever. I'm so excited for your journey, and I'm really excited to hear how it goes throughout, because not all of it's easy. You know it's not going to be easy, but you're not going to be this person. Earlier we talked about how that's less than half of you, your goal, where you want to get to. That's a big deal. I know it's going to happen. And this is the beginning, man. This is where it all starts right here. And everybody out there that's listening and they have weight issues or they have problems or they've felt the same way you felt and they don't know what to do, they get to watch you do this. And when they see what you do, they're going to know it's possible. And so I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you jumping on the microphones with us and sharing your story. This isn't the last you're going to hear from Colin. We're going to bring him in every couple months. We're going to talk to him. We're going to see how bad his days were, how good his days were, and then we're going to take that stinking picture in 18 months, and you are not even going to recognize yourself, man.
I'm excited. I look forward to it.
It's going to be cool stuff. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.